it just seems that no matter how many times or other people explain to others that winter is coming, you just have to be patient. Nobody ever listens. Of course not. It got pretty intense earlier on Twitter for me. I got into a lot of confrontations with people, and you know what? That's really good because it increases your IQ and it increases your capacitive and your cognitive learning capabilities, thinking, and skills. So, in short, fighting with people is actually beneficial to your brain, not detrimental. Okay, so we're going to just go right to it right over here. Old-fashioned way of me being lazy, sort of. So, there's like I said, I'm not saying any names at all, but there is a particular forecaster out there. I'm sure everybody knows who this is that has been saying that, well, the SOI has to make a rapid incline, which has to come rising up. Okay, well, I presented him this information, and he goes posting that, oh, well, you know, where's the SOI incline at? September was negative 16.66, and SOI is a Southern Oscillation Index. This is the latest indications, okay? When our values rise, it's heading towards neutral then to La Nina. When they drop, they go to El Nino. So as we see, September is negative 16.66 over here, okay? People are like, oh, this is really great, you know, the El Nino is going to collapse really quick, and we're going to get into winter around November time. All right, but look what happens in October. We have a spike, generally speaking, a negative spike, negative 21.30. All right, so a lot of people that are forecasting for a cold and snowy December, which I was completely the opposite about that. I was saying that December was going to be a potential torch, you know. But as we get closer towards the end of the month, you're going to see a transition really start to take hold. It'll start to get a little bit colder, with possibilities of warm and cold spells coming in between, and there's always the possibility of a storm. However, the Pacific jet is overbearingly powerful, and I came to that conclusion back in October when I saw around the PDO region how the flux wave propagation was going on with the jet stream. And that's when I was like, no, December is definitely not the pattern flip, that's for sure. So now we go to November, and I look at this, negative 3.23. Keep in mind that our SOIs have a delay of a couple weeks. At least several weeks. So you have to really wait till a month afterwards, or for the very, very, very end of the month to really notice anything even picking up on models. So the last average for the last 30 days was negative 10.23. The average for the last 90 days was negative 14.16, and the daily contribution to the SOI calculation is negative 4.83. This is as of today. So, does this mean that it came down a little bit more? Yes, but if you go back to the chart that I showed you guys before, this is going to rapidly come rising upward. So you're going to have these drops and these rises, like you'll go from negative 3.23 to 4.83 and then drop back down again and then go back up and keep on going down eventually. That's the overall trend that you have to look at. You have your, fluctuations, of course. The stratospheric warming I was talking about, this is at 50 millibars up in the lower point of the stratosphere, and as you can see, we have our polar vortex right up over here. But look at this. This is 6 hours, guys. This is going on as we speak. And people are like, oh, you know what you're talking about, Joey? Yeah, yada, yada, yada. But look at this right over here. This is not 116 hours out, 284, okay? I'm just throwing examples out there. This is happening right now. All right? Starting with the Eurasian region, and if you guys remember, I was talking about I was tracking an anomaly around this part of Siberia. Turned out to be a Rossby wave. Well, this is going to work its way up into 40, 30, and then 20, and then finally 10 millibars at the top layer of the stratosphere where the polar vortex resides. So you have all of this stratospheric warming coming around like this. And what's very funny is it's kind of almost following the track of the jet stream, which it's not doing. You have your upper level wind, which is called our wind intensity ratio propagation. So this is going to push pressure on this polar vortex. This entire side is going to have pressure being pushed on it. Actually, as we speak right now, this polar vortex originally was kind of like this, and it retreated back to this area over here. Well, more on this edge side over here. So what's going on is very good, because guess what happens? Yes, it is 240 hours from now, but let's get real here, people, okay? I think we need to stop looking at just an hourly run and go, okay, well, because the model is showing this in 24 hours, that's going to happen, right? No, not always. Just like how just because something is 240 hours out doesn't mean that it can happen. I think you have to take your observations and your critical thinking and put your mind to work here and try and pull a diamond out of the rough and try and come up with your own articulated outlook and your own forecast instead of saying, 240 hours out, instead of trying to figure out how we can make these models work for us in the long range, let's just ignore it because some of us just want to be really lazy and forecast that way. That's not me, okay? I'm into theoretical meteorology and I love it. It's great. It's hard as hell, but I love it. So let's go up to over here, okay? Keep in mind that we're still at 50 HPA up in the stratosphere, the lower levels. We have some serious warming going on over here. Now look at this. Your polar vortex propagation is on a negative tilt, okay? So you have a negative tilted polar vortex dip pushing right into the east coast versus before, all right? If you go back over here, you didn't have any tilt actually anywhere in this area. It was just pretty much circumcised. It was basically circumcised over here. So down over here, the well part of this polar vortex really digs. I mean, if you can just notice the difference over here, look at that. Straight, sharp shot down, all right? Now I'm just going to kind of flip throughout over here, you know. Not too much has honestly changed from what I've last talked about, so this will be generally short. Our Peruvian current is intensifying. Regions 1 and 2 are starting to cool down. Also, regions 3.4 and 3 are going to be next. 4, however, has risen because the cold water from the Peruvian current is pushing the warm water further north and west. That is why this region is warming up, and 3.4 and 3 are being pushed into 4. Meanwhile, 1 and 2 is just in a lot of trouble, all right? I posted this thing a million times, okay? Atacama high pressure system, though this thing has shifted east, which accelerates the strong Peruvian current, okay? Low pressure is focused around the Darwin, area around Indonesia, okay? Polar jet comes across here, subtropical jet comes across here. Stronger trade winds, equatorial currents are strong blowing westward, all right? Going back to the analogy of tropical tidbits analogs, region 4 will be the last one to stand. Your Peruvian current is rearing its ugly head right there, okay? Watch this. If you notice, 1 and 2 goes first. Then 3 and 3.4. And 4 will be the very last one. So this right here used to be over here. This is your Atacama high pressure system. It is now nearly hugging the coast because your Peruvian current is driven off of this Atacama high pressure system. And you also have your Palmer Low, which covers the vicinity of the Palmer Bay in Antarctica and south and west of South America. All right? And it is measured at 1025 millibars. Okay? Here you go. Atacama High, Cape Horn current. All right? Cold water comes up. And of course, the closer this is, the more pressure is being pushed up over here, and the water can kind of work its way up over here because the winds are turning faster. All right? Like I said, I got into a huge confrontation earlier with people, all right? It's what I do, okay? To my new followers, if you're watching this video, that's great. I like to confrontate with people. I am a huge debater, so it's what I do. And it gets me followers. So that's the truth, all right? So over here, our 7-day accumulation over here around to January 11th, we have an incline of our precipitation principles, while it begins to dry up on the Pacific Northwest. Now, guys, I've been calling for a winter pattern, commencing January 7th to the 14th. I have locked in that answer even since October. Nothing has changed whatsoever. Okay? If we go to the 500 millibar lookup over here, all right, you're going to notice that our warmth is more up and towards in Canada, say, being focused up over here. So if you're looking at this area right over here, per se, you don't have a ridge, top ridge crest ripping right off the southeast ridge region, punching right into the northeast. That's not there anymore, okay? This is actually going to change again. This is actually going to become more aggressive with the warm up in the northern regions and then the cold down southern regions over here. okay? So your trough development is going to focus more around the Gulf over here, say around the Mexico corridor, all right? Like I said, not too much has honestly changed. It has kind of been rehearsing the same things over and over and over again. But winter's definitely coming, okay? People that say otherwise better really support with very strong evidence, because I don't see why that would not happen. People try and prove me wrong on things, but the thing is they post the wrong things. And like I said, I'm not saying any names, but, this video is obviously running, and you guys are obviously able to see what's going on. But, yeah, there's no point of hiding for anything. I don't really care about trying to not hurt someone's feelings, okay? You're an adult, you grow up and get over it. That's how I learn, all right? As you can see over here, December 12th, our stratospheric warming is really starting to work its way up over here, and I firmly believe it's going to head straight towards Greenland. I have been saying this for weeks, and a propagation proves that, okay? What I'm going to do real quick is we're going to pull up the 30-day HPA anomaly. I'm sorry, 38 PA, 30-day anomaly. And we're going to watch a little time lapse over here, okay? Now, watch over here. You get your little Rossy wave going, okay? Now, it looks like it weakens, but what's going on is that it's fluctuating right across this perimeter over here, and it's going to head straight towards Greenland. This thing is going to head straight towards Greenland. That's exactly what is going to happen. I believe that is exactly what is going to happen. So, for those people out there that watch what I do, okay, if you're going to have a conversation with me, I think you want to just keep at a conversation level, because I have won many debates before. In school, you don't want to debate with me. You're most likely not even going to win. So let's just keep that, factorized and straight over there as well. Also, solar sunspot number cycle is also very important. I really want to kind of dive in over here, because we are about to, let me break that a little pink. There you go. Pink colors will definitely help over here. 2015 to 2016, okay? This period, let's say a little more, like right over here, we have a drop going down, okay, in our solar activity. What does this mean? This basically means that the kinematic energy that is coming off of our sun that energizes the upper level ones in the polar vortex will no longer be able to support it as this continues. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go on the side 6, 7, right here. What is this period right over here that I'm pulling up? 6, 7. All right, now it pulled up right over here. What is going on over here is you have an incline of the flux of the solar cycle going up, all right? Now, right now it is warm, and what's very funny is we're kind of around a little bit like, let's say right over here, at the same levels as 1997 and 1998, okay? But, as you keep on going up in all these areas over here, eventually we are going to go below that time frame and that level. And once we do that, that is when that, that polar vortex is going to bust. That is its threshold limit, okay? So that I really wanted to cover base on over here. 2000, so, I'm trying to kind of rush this video just to explain to you guys what I've been looking at, what I've been doing. Like I said, nothing much has really honestly changed. I have just been rehearsing the same thing over and over again. One of the little programs that I use, which is a prototype from the National Weather Service, which was given to me from one of my predecessors, which I appreciate. Thank you very much, Phil. If you notice in the last 30 days, the precipitation has really picked up on the Pacific Northwest. I watched this, and this was a supporting claim to the PDO, flux propagation with the jet stream, of the West Coast, which is going to get battered. I knew that the East Coast was going to get screwed over. I've also been picking up a little bit on the slight correlation with Puerto Rico, precipitation that falls, and what goes on east of the Mississippi area. So that's a theory that I'm also working on right now, along with my theory of the Portugal's SSTAs right off their coast. I was going through earlier, because I was published in the USA Today magazine, talking to celebrities, which I do from time to time. But yeah, nothing really honestly has changed. Winter's going to come without a doubt. It's just waiting for that right time to definitely come, and just being patient. But this weather, enjoy it. Christmas is looking very warm. I'm okay with it, okay? Because I know that the rubber band effect is going to come into play, and our winter will go haywire from January to March. I am a strong and firm believer of that.